When I tell you to relax, I am not merely suggesting a physical state of ease, though that is important. I am speaking of a profound inner knowing, a complete surrender to the truth, that what you desire is already yours, in the realm of the invisible. For everything in this world first existed in the imagination before it was brought forth into tangible expression. Most of you, here tonight, are making the mistake of struggling, of fighting against circumstances, of resisting what appears to be the current reality of your life. And in that very struggle, you are perpetuating the conditions you wish to change. For whatever you resist persists. Whatever you fight against, you strengthen. The secret is not in doing, but in being. Not in struggling, but in knowing. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives. An assumption, though false, it persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the foundation of all successful manifestation. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and remain faithful to that assumption, the world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. Consider for a moment what you truly desire in your life. Is it wealth, love, recognition? Whatever it may be, it already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. Your task is not to create it, for creation is finished. Your task is to appropriate it through the power of your consciousness. How do you do this? Through the art of relaxation. When you truly relax, you enter a state where your conscious, intellectual mind with all its doubts and fears subsides, and you slip into the state of your subconscious mind, which is the realm of manifestation. It is in this relaxed state that the seed of your desire can be planted effectively. Many of you are trying too hard. You are using forceful power and external action to accomplish what can only be done through the law of consciousness. This is why so many of you are frustrated, for you are working against the very law that would set you free. You are like someone standing at the shore, commanding the tide to change through shouting and physical exertion, when all that is needed is patience and understanding of celestial mechanics. The Bible, which is the greatest psychological book ever written, tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness, this inner quietude, is the state of relaxation I am speaking of. It is in this state that you connect with the creative power of the universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Let me tell you a story of a dear friend who came to me in despair. She had been struggling for years to establish her business, working tirelessly, sacrificing her health and relationships, yet making little progress. I told her what I'm telling you now: relax, and you will manifest everything you want. She looked at me incredulously, as perhaps some of you are doing right now. "How can I relax?" she asked, "when bills are piling up and competitors are taking my clients?" I explained to her that her very tension, her anxiety, her struggle was creating the reality she was experiencing. For we do not manifest what we want, we manifest what we are. And she was being a person in struggle and lack and fear. I instructed her to spend 30 minutes each evening, just before sleep, in a state of complete relaxation. During this time, she was to imagine herself in her office, receiving calls from new clients, looking at her bank statement showing abundant funds, accepting congratulations from peers on her successful business. Most importantly, she was to feel the naturalness of this scene, to feel as though it were already a fact. "But this isn't true," she protested. "It's a lie, a fantasy." And here, my friends, is where most people falter. They refuse to imagine what contradicts their sensory experience. But imagination creates reality. The very act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is what causes it to objectify in your world. She agreed to try my suggestion, skeptical though she was. And what happened? Within 2 months, her business began to change. New opportunities arose seemingly out of nowhere. A large client who had previously rejected her services reached out unexpectedly. A marketing strategy she had implemented months ago suddenly gained traction. And by the end of 6 months, her business had transformed completely. Was this coincidence? Absolutely not. It was the law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and changes in consciousness are reflected in changes in circumstance. Now, some of you may be thinking, if it is as simple as relaxing and imagining, why isn't everyone successful, healthy, and fulfilled? The answer lies in persistence and faith. Most people try these principles briefly, see no immediate results, and abandon them for the old familiar patterns of struggle and effort. They do not understand the gestation period of manifestation. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every day to see if it's growing. He trusts in the law of growth, knowing that if he has planted properly and provided the right conditions, the seed must develop into its full potential. Your desires are seeds planted in consciousness, and they too require trust in the process of invisible growth before visible manifestation. Let me be very clear about what I mean by relaxation. It is not laziness. It is not inaction. It is not passivity in the face of life's challenges. True relaxation is the absence of resistance to what is, combined with a faithful assumption of what you wish to be. Consider the life of Jesus as depicted in Scripture. Did he struggle and strain to perform his miracles? No. He relaxed into the knowing that it was already done. Before raising Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. Not I hope you will hear me or please grant my request, but gratitude for what was already accomplished in the invisible." This is the perfect mental posture for manifestation, complete assurance that what you are imagining is already a fact. Now let us discuss the practical application of this principle in your daily life. Begin by identifying what you truly desire. Be specific. If it is wealth, what amount? If it is a relationship, what qualities does it possess? If it is health, how does it feel to be vibrantly well? Clarity is essential, for your subconscious mind requires clear direction. Once you have identified your desire, create a scene that would imply its fulfillment. This scene should be simple, believable to you, and easy to visualize. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you might imagine checking your bank account and seeing a specific balance, or receiving congratulations from a friend on your financial success. Next, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, releasing all tension from your body with each exhale. Feel yourself becoming here, more relaxed with each breath. Allow your mind to quiet, letting thoughts come and go without attachment. When you have reached a state of deep relaxation, bring your scene to mind. Enter it as though you were stepping onto a stage. See the details around you, hear the sounds, feel the emotions, make it as vivid and real as possible. Most importantly, feel the naturalness of it, the of courseness of your desire being fulfilled. Remain in this scene for as long as it feels natural, typically 5 to 3 minutes. Then, gently open your eyes, but carry the feeling of fulfillment with you. It is crucial the feeling must persist beyond the formal meditation. Repeat this exercise nightly, preferably just before sleep when your subconscious mind is most receptive. Be faithful to it, understanding that you are working with law, not chance or luck. The law states that what you assume with feeling will objectify in your world. During your daily activities, when doubts arise or contrary evidence presents itself, as it inevitably will, remind yourself that what you are seeing is the shadow of past consciousness, not the reality of your new assumption. Refuse to be impressed by appearances that contradict your desire. This does not mean denial of facts, but rather understanding that facts are fluid, that they change in response to changes in consciousness. Many of you wonder why your previous attempts at manifestation have failed. It is because you have not truly relaxed into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You have affirmed with your lips while denying with your heart. You have visualized prosperity while feeling poverty. You have spoken of health while sensing illness. This divided mind cannot manifest effectively. Remember the words of Scripture, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." This singleness of vision, this unwavering focus on your desires already fulfilled, is what enables manifestation. A double-minded person, as James tells us, is unstable in all his ways and should not expect to receive anything. Let me tell you about another student of mine, a gentleman who had been seeking a specific position in his company for years. He had all the qualifications, had taken additional courses, had networked with decision makers, yet the promotion eluded him. Others less qualified were selected time and again. When he came to me frustrated and ready to give up, I shared with him this principle of relaxation and assumption. I instructed him to cease all anxious striving, all desperate attempts to prove his worth. Instead, each night before sleep, he was to imagine his superior congratulating him on his new position. He was to feel the handshake, hear the words of praise, experience the satisfaction of achievement. For 3 weeks, he practiced this faithfully. During the day, whenever thoughts of lack or disappointment arose, he would briefly close his eyes and recall the feeling of his imaginal seat. He relaxed into the knowing that the position was already his in consciousness. In the 4th week, his superior called him into the office. A position had opened up, not the exact one he had been seeking, but one even better suited to his skills and with greater responsibility and compensation. He was offered the role without having to apply or interview. The very superior he had imagined congratulating him did exactly that in physical reality. Was this coincidence? No, my friends. It was law in operation. He had planted the seed in consciousness, watered it with faith, and allowed it to grow without interference. He had relaxed into the knowing of its fulfillment, and the outer world reshaped itself accordingly. Now, some of you may be facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Perhaps you have a medical diagnosis that terrifies you, or a financial situation that appears hopeless, or a relationship that is broken beyond repair. The principle remains the same. Relax and know that your consciousness is the only reality. Your present circumstances, no matter how dire they may appear, are only the shadow of past thinking. They have no power to persist unless you give them power through your continued attention and emotional reaction. When you shift your consciousness, when you assume a new state, the shadows must change to match the new light you are casting. The Bible tells us all things are possible to him that believeth. This is not hyperbole, it is a statement of cosmic law. But true belief is not intellectual assent. It is not saying, yes, I believe this can happen. Rather, it is the feeling of naturalness, the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. It is living from the end. This is where relaxation becomes so vital. When you are tense, anxious, striving, you are broadcasting to the universe that your desire is not yet fulfilled, that it is something to be attained in the future. But manifestation does not work in time as we understand it. It works in states of consciousness. When you relax completely into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you enter the state where it exists. And from that state, it must objectify in your world. Let me share with you a profound truth that may revolutionize your understanding. There is no such thing as a future state of consciousness. All states exist now, in this eternal moment. What you call the future is simply at not usage you have not yet entered consciously. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled now, you are not creating something new. You are selecting from the infinite array of existing states the one that corresponds to your desire. This is why it is so important to relax. Tension and anxiety keep you locked in the state of wanting, of seeking, of not having. Relaxation allows you to slip into the state of already being, having, and doing what you desire. It is a surrender not to circumstances but to the truth of your divine nature as the operant power in your world. Many of you have been taught that hard work, struggle, and sacrifice are necessary for achievement. And certainly appropriate action has its place. But action that stems from a consciousness of lack, from a sense of having to make something happen, is rarely effective and often counterproductive. True, inspired action flows naturally from a changed state of consciousness. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take exactly the right actions at the right time without struggle or strain. Consider the difference between swimming upstream and swimming with the current. Both involve action, but one is exhausting and yields little progress, while the other is effortless and swift. When you relax into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you are swimming with the cosmic current rather than against it. Now let me address a question that often arises. What about the needs and desires of others? What if what I want conflicts with what someone else wants? This concern stems from a misunderstanding of the nature of consciousness and reality. In truth, there is only one consciousness, individualized in what appear to be separate beings. When you operate from this understanding, you realize that your true desires, emerging from your divine nature, cannot conflict with the true desires of another. If you find yourself wanting something that would harm another, deprive them of their good, you are not operating from your divine center, but from a place of fear or lack. True manifestation, emerging from the relaxed knowledge of abundance for all, harms none and blesses everyone it touches. Some of you may be wondering about the role of gratitude in this process. Gratitude is not merely a virtue to be practiced, it is a powerful creative force. When you are grateful for something, you are affirming its reality in your consciousness. This is why the practice of being grateful for your desire, as though it were already fulfilled, is so effective. Begin and end each day with gratitude for the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having what you once sought. This feeling state is magnetic, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and events necessary for the externalization of your assumption. Let me tell you about a woman who came to my lectures many years ago. She had been diagnosed with a condition that her doctor said was incurable and progressive. Medical science offered management of symptoms, but no hope of recovery. She was understandably frightened and discouraged when she first heard me speak about these principles. After the lecture, she approached me and asked if this law could work even in the face of such a diagnosis. I assured her that consciousness is the only reality, and that a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions, regardless of the apparent fixity of the physical world. I suggested that instead of fighting against her condition or fearfully monitoring her symptoms, she should relax completely into the consciousness of perfect health. Each night before sleep, she should feel the naturalness of moving freely, of having abundant energy, of engaging in activities that her condition had prevented. Furthermore, I advised her to mentally hear her doctor expressing amazement at her recovery. She practiced this faithfully, despite occasional setbacks when symptoms flared and doubt crept in. On those days, she would simply return to her practice with even greater determination, understanding that the outer conditions were merely shadows that had not yet caught up with her new consciousness. Within 6 months, her symptoms began to diminish. Within a year, her doctor was indeed expressing amazement at her improvement, ordering new tests to understand what had happened. Today, she lives a life free of both the condition and the restrictions it had imposed. Was this a miracle? Only in the sense that all manifestation is miraculous when viewed from the perspective of the physical world. From the perspective of consciousness, it was simply law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions. Now, my friends, I want to address something that prevents many from successfully applying these principles: the belief that they are unworthy of their desires. Many of you carry deep feelings of unworthiness stemming from childhood experiences, religious conditioning, or societal messages. You may intellectually understand these principles, but emotionally feel that someone like you doesn't deserve such blessings. Let me be absolutely clear, worthiness is not a prerequisite for manifestation. The law of consciousness is impersonal, like the law of gravity. It does not ask if you deserve to remain safely on the ground, it simply responds to the conditions present. Similarly, the law of consciousness does not question if you deserve your desire, it simply responds to the state you occupy in consciousness. Your divine nature, your true self, is already perfect, already worthy of all good things. When you relax into this truth, when you release the tension of unworthiness and simply assume the state of your wish fulfilled, manifestation must follow, not because you have earned it or deserved it, but because it is law. This understanding liberates you from the endless cycle of proving yourself, of accumulating achievements to justify your desires. You are free to simply be, to assume, to know that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. Some of you are wondering about the time frame for manifestation. How long will it take for my desire to appear in my physical reality? This question, though natural, reveals a misunderstanding of the process. Time is a construct of physical experience, not of consciousness. In consciousness, all is now. The bridge of events between your current physical experience and the manifestation of your desire exists in time, but the assumption of the state is immediate and eternal. The more completely you relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, releasing all anxiety about when and how it will appear, the more rapidly the bridge of events will be crossed. Patience is not waiting for something to happen. It is knowing that it already has happened in consciousness and allowing it to unfold in your experience without interference. Let us now explore another aspect of relaxation, the release of attachment to specific outcomes. Many of you have very fixed ideas about how your desire should manifest through which channels, involving which people, following which timeline. This rigidity creates tension and resistance that impedes the natural flow of manifestation. True relaxation involves surrendering not the desire itself, but your concepts about how it must be fulfilled. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not instruct it on exactly how many leaves to produce or precisely how tall to grow. You trust in the intelligence within the seed to express itself perfectly. Similarly, when you plant the seed of your desire in consciousness, relax and trust in the infinite intelligence of the universe to bring it to fruition in ways that may surpass your limited conception. I recall a man who was determined to resolve a legal dispute in a specific way, involving a particular settlement amount and a public apology from the other party. He had been fighting this battle for years, becoming increasingly bitter and obsessed. When he learned these principles, he began to imagine the feeling of the dispute being resolved satisfactorily. Note that he did not insist on the specific terms, merely the feeling of satisfactory resolution and the freedom to move on with his life. Within weeks, an unexpected opportunity arose for mediation with a renowned third party who specialized in such disputes. The resolution that emerged was entirely different from what the man had envisioned. It involved benefits and recognitions he had not even considered, yet it was far more satisfactory than his original fixed concept. Had he remained rigid in his specifications, he might have missed this perfect resolution. This is the power of relaxing not just your body and mind, but also your concepts and expectations. Allow the infinite intelligence that surrounds and permeates you to orchestrate the fulfillment of your desire in its perfect way. Now, my dear friends, I must address a common misconception about these principles, the belief that they can be used to control or manipulate others. Let me be absolutely clear, you cannot use these principles to make another person act against their will or nature. What you can do is assume a state that allows others to express the aspects of themselves that align with your desire. For example, if you desire a loving relationship with someone who currently appears cold or distant, you would not try to make them love you. Rather, you would assume the state of being in a loving relationship, feeling the naturalness of receiving their love and affection, if they have the capacity for such expression. Your changed consciousness creates the opportunity for that aspect of them to emerge. If they do not have that capacity, your changed consciousness will draw to you someone who does. This understanding releases you from the tension of trying to change others and allows you to focus solely on the one thing you can change: your own consciousness. And in that change of consciousness, miracles of transformed relationships can and do occur. Let me share with you a principle that may illuminate why relaxation is so crucial to successful manifestation. The state of relaxation is the state of relaxation. When you are tense, anxious, striving, your entire being is in a mode of broadcasting, of projecting your fears and doubts. When you relax, you become receptive to infinite possibilities that already exist in consciousness. Think of it as tuning a radio. When you are tense and struggling, you are tuned to the frequency of lack and limitation. When you relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you tune to the frequency where that wish exists as fact. The station has not changed, only your reception has. This is why moments of insight, inspiration, and brilliant ideas often come during periods of relaxation in the shower, while taking a walk, or upon waking from sleep. In these relaxed states, your receptivity is heightened, and the wisdom and abundance of the universe can flow into your consciousness. Make it a practice to create such moments of receptivity throughout your day. They need not be long, even a minute of closed eyes. Deep breathing and feeling the naturalness of your wish fulfilled can shift your frequency dramatically. Furthermore, understand that the feeling of relaxation itself is a powerful attractor. When you are relaxed, confident, and at ease, you become magnetic to your desires. Think of the people you are most drawn to. Are they not those who possess a natural confidence, a relaxed assurance that all is well? This is not coincidence. It is the law of attraction in action. By cultivating this relaxed confidence, this quiet knowing that what you desire is already yours, you become irresistible to the circumstances that will make your desire manifest. People will be inexplicably drawn to assist you. Opportunities will present themselves effortlessly, and obstacles will dissolve before they fully fall. I want to address another question that frequently arises. What about desire for material things? Is this spiritual? Many of you have been conditioned to believe that spiritual growth and material abundance are somehow opposed, that to seek physical comfort and prosperity is somehow less noble than seeking purely spiritual attainment. This is a false dichotomy. The material world is simply consciousness objectified. It is the outer expression of inner states. To manifest material abundance from a consciousness of lack and greed would indeed reflect a limited spiritual understanding. But to manifest material abundance from a consciousness of worthiness and abundance for all reflects a profound spiritual truth, that you are a creative being meant to experience the fullness of life in all its dimensions. The key is not what you desire, but the consciousness from which that desire emerges. When you relax into your true nature as a divine being, your desires naturally align with the highest good for yourself and others. From this alignment, all manner of abundance can flow without spiritual compromise. Now, as we approach the conclusion of our discussion, I want to leave you with a practical exercise that encapsulates all we have explored tonight. I call it the Sabbath state, drawing from the biblical concept of Sabbath as a time of rest and restoration. Each day, set aside at least 15 minutes to enter the Sabbath state. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably, close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply and slowly. With each exhale, release tension from your body, starting at your head and moving down to your feet. Feel yourself becoming heavier, more relaxed with each breath. When your body is completely relaxed, turn your attention to your mental state. Allow thoughts to come and go without attachment, like clouds passing in the sky. Do not fight against thoughts. Simply observe them without engagement until your mind naturally quiets. Now, from this deeply relaxed state, bring to mind the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not the process of fulfillment, not the striving for it, but the natural feeling of already having what you desire. Feel the relief, the satisfaction, the joy of fulfillment. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Remain in this state for as long as it feels natural, breathing deeply and feeling the reality of your desire as already accomplished. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes, bringing this feeling with you into your daily activities. Practice this faithfully, understanding that you are not trying to make something happen. You are aligning with what already exists in consciousness. The more completely you can relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, releasing all anxiety and doubt, the more rapidly and perfectly your desire will objectify in your world. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not a helpless being subject to circumstance. You are a divine creator made in the image of God, with the power to shape your reality through consciousness. The very fact that you can conceive of a desire is proof of your ability to fulfill it, for consciousness is the only reality. When you truly understand and apply this principle, when you relax completely into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will manifest everything you want with an ease and grace that will seem miraculous to those unaware of the law. But you will know it is not miracle, it is law. Not chance, but science. Not hope, but certainty. Go now and practice what you have learned. Relax into the knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. Feel its reality. Live from that assumption. And watch as the world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. For this is the true art of manifestation, not doing, but being, not struggling, but knowing, not seeking, but finding what was always there within you. Remember these words from scripture: be still and know that I am God. In that stillness, that relaxation, that surrender to your true nature, all power lies. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and you will indeed manifest everything you want and more. Thank you. Consider for a moment, when you entered this room tonight, you saw chairs, walls, other people. You believe these things to be real, to exist outside of yourself. But may I tell you that you have never seen anything outside of your own consciousness. You have never in all your life seen anything but the contents of your own magnificent mind. Everything you perceive is a mental activity within you, projected outward and seeming to be external and independent of your perception.